to Mike Pelly Live.
Welcome to the Mike Pelly Show Live! Hello everyone and welcome back. With us today we have two citizens of England. They believe that this Industrial Revolution is a big deal. Tell us more about that, please.
Yes, we think that the previous scientific revolution and the Enlightenment have led to this moment where the world will change forever. The population increase and the new inventions like the steam engine by James Watt are making production and travel so much easier. Things like the electric telegraph made communication between countries much easier. Also, the agricultural revolution made production be able to accommodate the growing population. It isn't just a period of industrialization. It is an industrial revolution.
How so?
I mean, we believe that the new way of producing goods in the form of mass production through division of labor will create powerhouse companies through mechanization that will push out the companies not using machines, thus making everything industrialized.
This is very interesting stuff. I would love to hear more about it after the break! Welcome back! Will you tell everybody what you told me during the break about how women are actually the cause for this Industrial Revolution?
Well, obviously they are subordinate to us and they work in the household.
So
This allows for them to work in these newly rising factories for very little pay. There's a surplus of workers because of the population increase, but the owners sometimes hire women so they don't have to pay them as much.
Church. I'm not trying to be pushy, but I think we all want to know more. How does the social structure affect the upbringing of this new period?
Well, the peasants gave the owners enough workers to manage their factories. The middle class, however, either began industrializing and for the most part became successful, or they stuck to their old ways and are unfortunately not able to keep up with everyone else.
Okay. I have another question for you if you don't mind.
No problem, go ahead.
Why did you guys begin industrializing way before everyone like us here in the Ottoman Empire?
Well, it is very simple. In England, there is a huge population of peasant workers that can do all the work and a surplus of raw materials, which allow for us produce as much goods as we want.
I think we've learned a lot from you two here today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Have a nice day. Next week we'll have a special guest, Eli Whitney, who thinks he has some machine, the cotton gin, that will change the cotton industry forever. Thank you, everybody. This is Mike Pelly Live. Order! Oh, hi. Welcome to Mike Pelly Live. This is Mike Pelly. Here's our show. Welcome back. I know it's been a few weeks since we talked about the Industrial Revolution, but I brought James and Vincent back to tell us about how their predicted revolution has influenced the world in the past few months.
Thanks, it's great to be back.
I have to ask, why did you request to have this segment outside?
It was my idea.
That's nice.
So that people could see what the revolution is doing to the environment. The air is thick and polluted. The trees are cut down and sewage flows through the streets. It isn't as bad here, though, as it is in the bigger cities.
Just how much worse are the cities, actually?
From first-hand experience, we know that the cities are loud from the trains, overcrowded from the surplus of workers, polluted with sewage and smoke, and cheaply made to accommodate the population.
Is anything being done to correct these issues?
Definitely. The government is trying to pass laws to allot funds for cleaning up the cities, and hopefully large populations will slowly disperse into rural areas.
Yeah. This Industrial Revolution is starting to sound like a bad thing. Is there anything good that even came out of it?
Oh yes, of course. The birth rates have went way up as people can afford to support children. and the food supplies went up because of the much more efficient ways to plant and harvest crops.
That's nice. Did industry even change at all?
I will answer this one. Yes, for example, the iron industry became much more efficient as the use of a substance called coke and a new method of making it, called puddling, it became much easier to make. Steel became cheap enough to be used for large projects like the Crystal Palace.
Thank you guys for your time this evening. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
us,
us.
sir.
Always. Before we go, I would like to have a chat with my dear friend Adam Smith about his ideas on laissez-faire capitalism right after the break. Hi, welcome to the Mike Pelly Show Live, and today we have Adam Smith with us. Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Can you give us more information about your ideas of laissez-faire capitalism?
Yes, of course. I believe that the government should not interfere with the economy. This means that there is no labor laws or restrictions on trade. The economy would run so much more smoothly like this, though. Those other ideas, like utilitarianism and positivism, that think that all people, including government, are all inherently good, just don't fit in our society.
About this newfound utopian socialism in Europe. What is this about?
Well, I will give you a demonstration to understand it. Imagine I have 6 ping pong balls and you have 2.
Thanks, madam.
With utopian socialism, we would both have 4 balls because there is no private property and everything is equal.
Thank you for that, but before we leave, I have one question. What is ping pong? Good evening and welcome back to another segment of Mike Pelly Live. Today we'll be discussing how the Industrial Revolution has affected society in Europe. We'll have one person from each social class on to discuss their lives before and after this revolution. Here's a peasant from England named Jasper Probenflux. Wait, no. Probencrux the third. Oh,
Yo, thanks for having me, my brother.
Adam, boy.
My life was before all this living in the country and all. But now after I moved to the city, my life is terrible. I live in slums called tenements, and they are dirty. I'm not paid very well, so I barely get by.
So sad.
The Hunger 40s made food prices shoot up, so I am so hungry.
What is your job, old man?
I work in a textile factory, which was the first industry to industrialize.
That's true.
And we used water power until the steam engine became usable.
Didn't they do anything to help the workers? Like, WTF?
Well, sort of. The Factory Act of 1833 and the Mines Act of 1842 tried to make reforms, but the owners of these companies didn't pay attention.
Alright, thanks to Jasper.
No problem, brother.
Now we're going to
Keep
talk
it
to
easy.
a very successful middle-class man named Tyroyle Smoochie Wallace. How's it going, Tyroyle?
Yeah, my life was before owning my own business and all, but because of industrialization, I've become incredibly successful and am now considered to be part of the upper class.
Very nice. That's really impressive.
All middle class became much more well off. The Industrial Revolution was great for us.
Alright, I see, Tyroyle. It was great having you. It's great having you.
Thank you, sir.
It just goes to show you that anyone can be successful. Now my good friend Richard Ackroyd, who invented the water frame, is here to give you the wealthy perspective right after the break. I need 10 pounds. Oh. Alright, this is the Mike Pelly Live Show. We're back with
Richard Ackroyd.
Richard Ackroyd, my great friend. Okay, so can you tell us about your water frame?
Yeah, I was doing really well before all this happened. Then my water frame, which moved water to create power made me so rich that I now bathe in money.
What? Oh, okay. I bet you do. Sure. I appreciate you showing up today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right. The final person we'll have is a woman from England named Sinead Johnson. Tell me more about how. Where's Sinead Johnson?
Right here.
Oh, you tell me more about how your life was like being a lower class woman like yourself.
Well, I worked at
lower
home.
class and all.
Well, I worked at home and cared for our children a few years ago. But when the craziness started, I had to go work for very little money in a factory.
Sure.
That it? That's it?
All right, thanks. This concludes another segment on Mike Pelly Live. Thank you. Have a good night. Hi, welcome to the Mike Pelly Live Show. And this is your host, Mike Pelly. Okay. Tonight I would like to discuss the difference between women of the upper middle class and of the working class.
Women vary a lot based on the fact of which social class they belong to.
Upper class women have life so easy. They don't have to do anything. The servants clean their house and their husbands make all the money. You could say they're about useless as my dog.
I feel like they should do some sort of work to contribute to society. They can't expect to have tons of rights when they are completely reliant on males.
The working class women are different though. They work so hard in factories to feed their families and endure all kinds of difficulties. They get low wages and have to work long hours, all so their families can eat at night.
In other words, they're doing everything the higher class women did, but while working in a factory 12 hours a day.
I respect these women and think of them as very close to the status of men.
There was universal male suffrage at this time, but no such thing for women. Frankly, though, most of them don't deserve it.
I'm sorry if I am offensive to anyone, but a woman who does no work should not have the ability to help and change any part of government. Am I right?
In general, though, women are making massive attempts to try to get more rights and respect.
As you can see, women during this period can't be lumped into one category because the upper and lower classes have such drastically different lives. This concludes the final episode of Mike Pelly Live. I would like to thank you all for tuning in and being such wonderful audiences during this whole thing. I really appreciate it. Hey Joseph, why was Helen Keller such a bad driver?
I don't know.
Because she was a woman!